What's going on, guys? Rockley AC here, giving you guys a Gencon 2017 tournament report for the Naruto CCG game. Um, it was held last weekend in Indianapolis, Indiana, and had a lot of fun. Traveled with a couple of buddies of mine. We were basically going for the Panini Dragon Ball Z card game tournament, and I was going for, obviously, Naruto also. So we rented a house, which was very cool. We used Airbnb. Definitely recommend renting a house rather than going to the hotels, just because it's more spacious. You got a lot of room to play and a lot more freedom to do whatever, whether that's cooking, or like barbecuing or whatever, preparing your meals, having enough space to play card games, leaving and entering the house. I mean, it's just the access is just really, really easy. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I know Gen Con was a different experience for everybody, but for me, I had a lot of fun regardless. So for those who follow the Facebook page, you guys should know that I definitely scrubbed out in this event. I did worse than I thought I would, and actually I thought there'd be a little bit more people too, so I guess I'll go ahead with the report. I was the only one in my play group that was able to go. I know in different circumstances another player out in Wisconsin probably would have been able to go, but unfortunately they couldn't, so I was the only one able to go with my play group. And I was hoping to see a lot more people. Unfortunately, I think we only had 12 or 14 players. And that's understandable too. I mean, I could understand with the expenses that Gen Con does, traveling, housing, the events in general. It's definitely not cheap. And the fact that, it's sold out, the badges were inaccessible after, a couple weeks prior. I think that did hinder a couple people, because I know I did talk to Nathan, who is from Team Ohio, and I think he said that Tony Dunning was trying to go to Gen Con, but at that time badges were sold out, and he was not able to go. And I thought, I was hoping to see also either Team Chicago or Team Milwaukee come by, and also Team Beat to Death. Hollowed Animal, I think he was able to go last minute or something like that. So I was expecting a couple more people, but regardless, it was really nice to catch up with both players from 4 and new players. So it was nice to see Anthony, Hill Brothers, Scott, Alex. I met even like the old school players like Josh Liu, Amir, Bruce, and the new generation, Jason and James and all that. So it was really cool to see them. Even Nathan again from Team Ohio. It was really nice to see people like that. And yeah, even though it was a small event, I had a lot of fun just catching up with people. I think that's probably more value to it than anything else, is just the experience you have playing the games, conversations, reminiscing, the moment within the actual tournament itself. I think was a lot of fun, and the matches were great, even though I got stomped. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I did hope to see at least 20 people there, and again, I could understand pricing and the inability to get access of the badges and stuff, so understandable. Hopefully for future events we'll be able to move it to different locations where people could access it a little bit easier. But yeah, I guess I'll go with the tournament report too. Basically, before the game, before the tournament started, there's 2 hours of basically kill time because we were waiting on people, waiting for the tournament to start. So did some test plays, played against Scott. He was running his Ghost Panic deck. This is a deck that he's gonna run, but then he switched it last minute. But it was pretty good deck. It revolved around Tears and Rebirth, that combo from a couple years back. I think the Peñas were running it, Saul and David. But yeah, it was an extension off of Tears and Rebirth that would get more Broken Ninjas in play and kind of just win through like Daidara Fire Wrath and stall cards like Kabuto and Revitalize, so that you loop and never decked out. It was great. He pretty much OTK'd me towards the end of like turn 7 or 8 or something like that. Very cool deck. But in the back of the head, I already knew which deck I probably would be running then, because I had 3 decks on me. I had my OTK, I had my Shimon Says, and then a mono fire deck. Wasn't really sure I was going to play, but I was leaning on the OTK deck just to throw people off. And then I was rooting on Scott to actually win the event, and assuming that he was going to run the Ghost Panic deck, I main decked Shimon Says. Shimon basically shuts that deck down. I played it a couple years ago. I played Saul's Tears and Rebirth, and I beat him in Swiss. I lost the top 4 against Eric Malone, but had I beat Eric just one more battle reward away, I would have went against probably Saul and probably took it. But I know this deck is good because it stops that main combo of the deck, so I decided to go with it. Plus, it made more sense in my head to run Shimon because a lot of decks out there are going to be putting Play Ninjas, Kakashi Anbu, reinforcements, squatting, so I just didn't want to deal with all that. I wanted to be more control and kind of stop my opponent from their interactions. I think if I played different opponents, different matchups, I probably would have done better. But I ended up going 1-4, and yeah, it was just a tough day for Mr. Shimon, but it's all right. Shimon says to retire this deck until a different rogue list opens up. So. But yeah, I decided to run it because there's a lot of decks out there that put in play, and it shuts off a lot of effects, and I wanted to see what kind of cards outside of Idle Comrades would mesh well with the TOP list. So I thought I did okay, solid. I thought I could have done better. I thought I could have done better as a player, but it's cool. Should have ran OTK. I think that would have been not only a lot more fun, but a lot more consistent. Just because I think it would throw people off. But let's go ahead and do the breakdown. Round 1, I run against Anthony Hernandez, of course. He is running Mono Fire. That deck has a lot of answers to everything. It's very consistent. It has Negation, it has Jitsus, it has one of the best draw missions in the game. So he was able to hit consistently. Game 1, I think he got me good. I think I was only able to land 1 Battle Ward on him. Game 2, I sighted in some cards, but for the most part, I was able to use cards like Bashfulness that caught him off guard. I know I Bashfulness is Kakashi Anbu, and he was just like, oh, all right, they expect that, which I'm sure he didn't expect that, because it was a good card, and I love that card for the effect of it being similar to Idle Comrades, but not necessarily the exact effect. So yeah, that was fun. I stalled him out a little bit more, but he was still able to pull it off. I mean, more on the Jutsu chains and stuff. Second round, I went against Matt Eisenbud, another solid player, one of the better ones out of the East Coast. I don't know if he was running the same deck that Alex Blandon was running, because I think he was also running females. It's hard to tell. I know it was a black and white proxy deck, so it was hard to fully visualize and memorize what kind of cards he was running, but I think he was running mostly females, stuff like Ferocious Punch and Mind Transfer, so I wasn't able to crack him open on his deck. I think it was a lot more consistent than mine in terms of draw power and Jutsu power. A lot of the Jutsus that I ran in this deck doesn't really go off till turn 3 or turn 5, so that's probably one thing that I would change in this deck, just to make it more consistent. But when you have negations like Ferocious Punch or Mind Transfer that could just be dealt on turn 1, and if you don't have an answer to that, it's going to be really difficult. So regardless, he got me on those 2 games too. Round 3, I went against the Void player who got top 4. Honestly, I should have beat him. There are a couple different mistakes that I had and unfortunate draws that just really hurt the overall aspect of the game. For the most part, I thought I was very prepared for things like Void. They do a lot of put in plays, so my Shimon or Heart to Heart would stop that. And especially cards like Bashfulness, where it would put that ninja back to the deck, and then you'd have to sacrifice another ninja. I mean, that's just way too good. First game, I think I had like maybe 8 battle wards, and then he was able to catch up later in the game when he just hit his curve of Pain ninjas. So unfortunately, when you are playing Pain, they do have like all the Pain versions out where you could negate a Jitsu or shut off effects every other turn. It just forces you to play a certain way, their way basically. And I had to go around it, and unfortunately I was not able to get that round 1. Round 2, didn't hit my Shimon or Heart to Heart till turn 5, and people should know how that goes in a Void deck where they're controlling the turn marker, they're already ahead of me, and he drops Devapath. I think I was able to Bashfulness Devapath, but the next turn he played a different Devapath, which I was surprised. He ran 2 versions, but I guess makes sense depending on the situation. And then Almighty Push. So we had a pretty good exchange of Jitsu. I think we had a set where I ran 3 Jitsus, and then he just had that 3rd negate Jitsu on the chain, and that was really my only way to swing, because I think I had one of my last Jitsus was 4-pillar Prison Jitsu, and he just had 1 more negation, and that would have been, a good way to kind of push for victory. But other than that, he had me those games. And round 4, went against Nathan. He basically just gave me the win. I mean, we both had the same record-ish in a way, so we both didn't do so hot. So we actually just caught up, and then he actually showed me a game that him and Tony Denning made or created. Is basically like a war game based off religion, which is pretty cool. Certain actions that you do based on your humanity and all that stuff and your decision making. So it was a pretty cool game. But yeah, regardless, I had a lot of fun. It was nice meeting new people there for the first time, like Josh and Amir, very cool guys. Seeing the different generations of Naruto from the past 12 years or so, I don't even know, but it's very nice to see. And I know a lot of people were upset with the results. They were looking outside in, but for me, I had a lot of fun. I was there. I took every moment of opportunity to really just have a good time. I think that's what people really need to learn, I guess, in life, is just, you could have a shitty day, you could be in a shitty mood, but that's up to you. You could change it in an instant if you want to. There are people who could just be full of drama, and if you shake it off and just say, no big deal, you could quickly turn your mood around, and that's I think how some people are able to get away with having a better time than other people. Because I know other people in tournaments especially, they just do bad, and they're just like, this is the worst tournament ever. It was ran terribly, my deck could have gone better, but it's just really your attitude and how you take your gaming seriously. Like, I did horrible, but despite that, I had a good time. Like, I know when the game died, I was topping like every event towards the end of the game, and I know my strengths within this game. So I mean, I was talking with like, I think Josh or other people, like, we've been in the game for a while, and you really have nothing else to prove, so there's really no point in like sulking over a loss or something like that. So it really is no big deal. You could be competitive if you want, but at the end of the day, we're grown adults, and we had a lot of fun in this event. So for those who saw it from the outside and they were like really upset, or that they're like, oh man, Alex and Eric should have played it out on the last game, stuff like that, it's no big deal. I mean, really, like, had you guys came to the tournament too, I think it would have been a different experience. I think we would have had a much larger tournament, obviously, if people came by. So for those who are criticizing, the event in general, I understand, but for me, I had a good ass time. I met people, had some good laughs, had some great matches, and that's really what it's all about. In a dead card game, what more can you expect? I know there are a lot of expectations from this event, so I don't feel like I should be even apologizing, but I did wish that there was a larger turnout, but you can only do so much within the confines of the situation. So if Gencon and the pricing of Gencon was a reason for you to not go, totally understand that, and I respect that. But if there are events going around the area, like locals especially, and you're still calling people bad or terrible, you need to fix that, because you never know how bad or terrible you could be too. You could be just as bad or terrible as anybody else. So if there is a locals in your area, please try to support it. We're trying our best to grow the game again, or at least take advantage of this game while it lasts. I told so many people to try to go to Gen Con at least, just because realistically, this game's not going to last forever. You may have certain sparks here or there, but anytime there's an event that has an opportunity to be large as this, quantity-wise or even quality-wise, which is pretty much half the players who came here, or more than half, which is all good quality players, take advantage of that. You're going to have a couple days out of the whole year. What is that? 4 days out of 365 days a year, you're going to be having a big Naruto tournament, and you're not going to be there. I'd definitely try your best to make it. Spending $500 on a weekend sure is a lot, but what is really money at the end of the day? You're going to earn it back in your next paycheck, and then you're going to regret it that you didn't go to this event, that you work your butt off 9 months out of the whole year, and then you're not able to attend a 4-day event for a game that you love. So definitely for those who missed out, try to consider that. In the next big event, who cares about the money? You're going to make it back anyways. You're going to earn that dough, you're going to earn that money, you're going to hustle back. It's not the end of the world. You're not going to be broke, you're not going to be on the streets. Take advantage of every moment you can with this game, or any game in general that you really love, and put it out there. Travel. Use this as a traveling excuse. If you live far away and you're like, oh my god, Gen Con's so much money, I gotta pay for a plane ticket, treat it as a vacation. Treat it as time off. We all need like a little bit of break from life, so use that as a opportunity. And again, I know I'm saying this, lightly and all that stuff, but if you're able to, do it. Again, what's money to you? You'll make it back anyways, and the things that you can't value or put a price on is the actual experience of the event itself. So if there are future events out there, take advantage of it, grow with the community, have fun, and just go with the flow, but don't take it so seriously. Anyways, I talked a lot. Let's go with our deck profile. Everybody knows that. That was my tournament report, I guess, sort of say. It was a lot of fun, and no regrets. Except I felt like I should have ran OTK. So yeah, let's go ahead with the deck. I ran Shimon Says. The idea was basically to run Shimon, prevent a lot of people from putting in play, then combo off with cards like Obito and Bashfulness and removal jutsus. I'll start off first with Amy. She's a client. She's really good. When this kind's put at play, and you have 2 or more female ninjas in your village, you can look at all the cards in your opponent's hand, search for 1 jutsu or mission, discard it. My early drop consists of a lot of female ninjas, so you're most likely going to be able to hit this. If you're able to hit this early, like if you open with a Hotaru and Tamari or Karen or something like that, and then you have Amy, they're just going to have a hard time hitting either their missions or maybe their drops. So Amy was a great control card, since this is more like a control deck. Next, 3 Chojis. Another great stall card, or beef card, I guess, sort of say. Choji really prevents your opponent from being so rushed, because whenever you give your opponent Battle Words, he gets +1 coins on that many Battle Words. So if Sasuke solo attacks you, he becomes a 5-0, and then you team up with another team. I mean, most people already obviously know to pass, but Choji definitely slows a lot of decks down for the early game. And he's Earth. Next to Hotaru, one of the best ninjas, zero-drop ninjas in the game. She either draws or gets a growth coin. Can't argue with that. Two 10-10s. She helps basically filter out your deck, discard cards from your hand that you don't need, and draws. So it's a nice filter card, and she was solid. Another solid card was Tuhunari. She does a lot. She looks at your opponent's hand for knowledge. She could potentially charge a card and discard a card. 2 mental power. She has Genjutsu, so she's just overall solid 0-drop. And then next 2 zeros is 2 Shikamaru. Didn't really know what to run. I was thinking about mainboarding Hina, but I hate running like tech ninjas for like the 0 slots. I would much rather have like an attacking ninja or a ninja that's at least decent. You know, Hina's good too, but I wanted to have ninjas that I'm able to be comfortable with sending out to battle. Shikamaru was one of them, because if I go against like a animal deck or rush deck or a deck with no meta power, Sasuke solo, he's able to put up against him. But yeah, I run 11 0-drops, I think, and I wouldn't see myself cutting it because I hate underdropping. Once to Anabe, she was okay. I do run mostly Earth Jutsus, so she did help put in place some of the Jutsus, but overall she's kind of lackluster. I probably would swap her out for something else. Plus, I don't like the proxies on this. I mean, it was pretty cheap. Can't really tell-ish, but I mean, she's okay. Probably better for the Mono Earth BR flip decks. Once Mari, Wind Scythe. So good. I mean, if you want to go in with your tree Jutsus, it's a perfect card to drop. 1 Karen, she has 2 mental power, heals. 2 drops, 2 Shimons. One of the main cards of the deck. Shimon prevents players from putting in play ninjas except by deploying, so they can't squad, they can't flashpoint, they can't Tears and Rebirth, Guido Art statue type thing. Kankuro, Platoon, Kakashi Anbu, all that stuff. So I felt like in this meta people were running a lot of that stuff, and Shimon will shut it down. Unfortunately, didn't really do so much. I mean, it would probably stall, which is obviously the main point of the deck. It'd stall for a little bit, but it wasn't enough where it'd warrant a obvious lead over the opponent. So Shimon was okay. You know, he did his job, but I think Shimon says to retire this deck unless they unban Idle Comrades, which probably be never. Yeah. 2 Sakura Book Smarts. She's amazing. She's amazing. She's a very powerful card. When you deploy her or any other ninja with a meta power 2 or more, draw a card. Very powerful. Use this card a lot, and she was definitely the draw engine of this deck. Which I made it so because I ran heart to heart, and I wasn't able to search, so I kind of cut Shikamaru's decision, which I shouldn't have because I didn't always have heart to heart out, but you know, she was the consistent way of drawing cards because most of my ninjas did have 2 mental power. 1 Shino, he's a good tech card. For anybody who's looking for like a filler card, early game, Shino is definitely one of them. He has 2 mental power, he has Revitalize, and he picks a card out of your opponent's hand and they move it to the bottom to draw. So if somebody is missing like a good solid card for either wind or hand control, Shino's basically one of them. Or if they're running like a combo deck where they need certain cards to go off, Shino is definitely a solid card. I ran this over the 0-drop Bug Coin Shino because this is obviously more important to get rid of like counter missions and their drops. 3s, I ran 2 Tenzos. He has Tree Attribute, which most of my Jutsus are, so I could run these broken Jutsus early. Probably only helped 1 game where I was able to run like Sealing the Evil on turn 3, but other than that, he was an okay ninja. He has 2 mental power, draw off book smarts. He was a solid 3/3. Sai, he kind of did okay. Wasn't really a ninja. I wouldn't really miss him if I cut him. But he's basically a stall card. Put in play, pay 2 Earth. You get a Battle Ward back to your hand, so it's like a what is that, Sand Council or something like that. Basically like a mini first Hokage, get Battle Ward back to your hand. He was just another chump ninja, chump block ninja, didn't really do too much. 2 meta power though, so again, draws off Sakura. One of the main combos of the deck, Obito and Shimon. Obito, you pay 2 win when he's put in play, you move a ninja, put him back at the end of the turn, but Shimon says can't do that, because you can only do it by deployment. So Obito is very powerful in this deck. He is one of the main combos that still work in the Shimon Says deck. I just wish I was able to abuse him a little bit more. In my earlier builds, I did run stuff that would bounce Obito back to my hand. I ran like the turn 4 Gara that you would pay like 1 or 2 chakra to bounce back to your hand. And then I also ran stuff like Wind Pressure that would bounce a ninja and my opponent's ninja back to their hand, which is a solid card. It's just my mission lineup didn't really have a lot of wind to it, so it was more earth. And I just wasn't able to generate enough wind chakra to kind of use that effect and pressure and all that stuff. So it was cut, but you could definitely make a deck that has more wind and have this be successful. Which probably be, that version would probably work a lot better, because you could bounce Obito back and then opponent will bounce the ninja back. It's so good. No 4 drops. 5 drops, I ran Yamato. No 4 drops because I'd probably run Obito on turn 4. You know, Sakura at 2, Shimon at 3, Obito at 4, for like the removal setup. Yamato CBF, he was great. He's obviously a broken ninja. He's good at 1 though. 2 mental power and effect text to shut off. Doesn't really do good against Giant Rhino because Giant Rhino is put out first, so it blankets their effect. But Yamato, for the most part, is great. He's a tree user, so use those powerful tree jutsus. Continuing the powerful tree jutsus for Hokage, very powerful ninja, has mastery. Get 2 Battle Words back to your hand, and you could reshuffle cards from your deck. Didn't really play against Mill, so I didn't really mind not shuffling all those cards back. Second Tsuchikage, one of my favorite tech cards in the game. Not too many people run it, and I feel like people should actually consider him for certain decks. Basically, he has 2 meta power, which is great. This ninja cannot be blocked by a team that includes a ninja with less entrance cost than this ninja. So if they don't have like a turn 6 or higher, they basically can't attack this. So it's 2 free prizes. It helps when you have like a combo setup where you have Shimon out, and then you Obito somebody on turn 6, and then you sacrifice Obito for second Tsuchikage, so that pretty much their turn 6 is gone, so you can swing for prizes. Or if you use something like Bashfulness on their turn 6, and then, you know, second Tsuchikage is out there for to swing, and then that turn 6 ninja, now that it goes back to the top of their deck because of Bashfulness, gets put back to the Battle Wards, so they don't get that 6 ninja drop. Very powerful. But yeah, he's basically combos. Like, I think you could definitely build, not really a deck around him, but the idea of really preventing your opponent from going into battle. There's a lot of older cards and cards in the meta that can do that. I don't know if it's like Change Appearings, but stuff like Bashfulness, like it prevents people or certain ninjas from attacking, like Kitamaru, State 2 and stuff. So you could definitely build a deck around that and have him be one of the prime targets of like a 6-drop type thing. So very cool. Missions. I ran 2 Student Sensei and 1 Everyone Love. Early game draws, pumps up Choji, and this card needs to be banned. I think that's one card that definitely could hit the rogue list that people won't mind. 3 loss. Since I'm running Heart to Heart, there should have been a lesser of a chance of me being able to search cards for my deck, so I cut Sheikah's Decision. Should have kept it in. I'd probably add it back in, but Loss is a great solid card. Gets 2 wind for your Obito. One delicate ops. Should have ran two. Didn't really do too much. When your opponent plays a Jitsu, you can negate and move that Jitsu to his owner's hand. In that case, remove a coin from this mission, so your opponent has to do a lot of chaining. This would have helped against my Void matchup, because at Void we had like 3 Jitsu exchanges. 2 comp strengths. I think this card everybody should at least run a 2 of. There's so many effects in the game that are just game breaking, or just hits your opponent's consistency. Even though I have stuff like Shimon, where you could stop, put in place, there's still a lot of ninjas that deploy that have powerful effects, like Naruto Reliance, Force Hokage also, or like any other like crazy put in play true ally stuff. So very powerful card. I'd recommend people running that at 2, if not 3. Heart-to-heart communication, one of those old school cards. It prevents players from searching cards in their deck or put in play ninjas except by deploying. So it's kind of like a Shino, Silence, and Shimon put together. It affects you, of course, but the whole point is to screw your opponent's tempo and stuff, and that's pretty much what it was supposed to do. Speaking of screwing tempo, Bashfulness, this card was a very played card back in the day, and this was pretty much one of my MVP cards. Should have ran 3. It was such a good card. It's a counter mission. Target one of your opponent's ninjas with an interest cost of 4 or more that was just deployed. Move back to the top of its owner's deck. So basically, you stall till turn 4 or whatnot. Or if you have the ideal drop, you have Shimon on 2, or Shimon on 2 or 3, Obito on 3 or 4. You pop their ninja, and then you pop their next ninja with Bashfulness. I mean, that's basically the Idle Comrades combo. And then they'll lose their tempo of the game, like important ninjas. I was able to Bashfulness Anthony's Kakashi Anbu. That was great, and I think Void. And that definitely hurts Void because then I have to re-sacrifice another ninja. So Bashfulness was definitely a key card. If I had to make changes to this deck, I'd add 3 of this card. And I'd probably advise people just even run this on Earth. It's such a good, powerful card, even though if you don't run the Shimon engine. Bashfulness is just stupid crazy. Such a good control card. Jitsus, I ran 2 Infinite Embrace. Removal Jitsu, so I want to remove ninjas off the field. Obviously, that's what my Jitsus do. Sealing the Evil, target 1 ninja. It's a snipe Jitsu. Move it to the bottom of the owner's deck. So another field removal Jitsu. And last 2 Jitsus, Wood Style Jitsu, 4 Pillars Prison, broken card. Not super broken, but I think it's very, very powerful. Tree attribute user. So Tenzo, Yamato, First Hokage could use it. It's only costs 2 Earth, and then you could make every one of your opponent's ninjas on the battlefield to become a standby. So you can just push for 3 teams. Chakra. Crazy, crazy, crazy card. I love it, and it helped out in one of the games. Sideboard, I ran 2 Hina in case people are running like permanent decks like World of Fire for mill, or like the coin decks like Zetsu Army, something like that. Nobody really played it, so I didn't really need it. 2 Kiba in case people are running OTK stuff. Fortunately, not too many people ran like an insane amount of OTKs. But it was there for, just in case stuff. I think if more people came by, specific people, they probably would have ran OTKs, like maybe like Jordan Marco or something like that. Ino, playful, very helpful against like Void. Each player cannot put in play more than 1 ninja per turn, and then effect text of your opponent's head ninjas is negated. Very powerful card. I'd consider this as a main board, even just like, to swap out stuff. Kagiri. Kagiri was an amazing card. I would side him out against Void and other specific decks, but during your mission phase, you can select one of your opponent's ninjas or clients. In that case, the effect text of the selected ninja or client is negated during this turn. I also side this in case we play against like Moroku. Moroku's still freaking broken and powerful, so Kagiri is one of those answers. Kiho. I was actually expecting no hand water in this format, because I still think no hand water is very powerful, especially with a lot of discarding cards, discarding effects. But you know, didn't really see too much of that combo. Didn't really see a lot of like Chidori type style things. So it's like Sasuke, Freedori decks. You know, it didn't really matter for getting certain cards out of the discard pile or the shock area. 2 self conversations, obvious for stuff like NVS. I know Josh Liu ran NVS. Any deck that has powerful missions. And 1 clear sky against heavy chakras. I mean, this is always a solid card for me. If I have like a Tachi out or something like that, or not a Tachi, but if I feel like I know my opponent's not going to negate this, moves every card in their owner's chakra area, and discard pile back to the owner's deck. So it's like anti-mill and also anti-chakra. And then reinforcements, I didn't really run too much. I mean, I had these just in case because I had Shimon and Heart to Heart, so I ran like Danzo, Sasuke, Itachi, like just a bunch of like random stuff. Sage mode, broken, limited edition, non-foil, non-real. Sasuke, Naruto squad. But yeah, basically that's my deck. You could obviously modify it to your liking, or like how I said, different versions with like more wind chakra. I think that would probably be a lot more consistent. But yeah, it's you know, I had a lot of fun. I was excited meeting the people and just having a good time traveling with people. Just the notion that you're traveling again is something that's really fun, and I'll never, you know, have a bad time about it because you're just having a good time with you know, your friends. But yeah, that's my deck profile. Hope you guys enjoy it. I know I did bad, but trust me, in the right meta, in the right mindset, maybe even the card combinations, I think this deck could still be very, very good. Definitely not tier 1, maybe not tier 2, maybe tier 2.5, maybe. Give me that Idle Comrades, you know, kind of style, limit to 1, maybe, who knows. But yeah, it's still a very good card. I do enjoy playing it. It does catch people off guard, but I could obviously make some changes to it, which I already did mention in the video. And for those who do want to try it out and do have suggestions on it, you know, you could definitely build this any way you want. You could build the Fire Wind version of it too if you want as well, which might do better. But yeah, rate, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. I'll be uploading a lot of Gencon videos and a lot of videos in general, and hopefully some big announcements too. Maybe some future partnerships going along. But yeah, rate, comment, subscribe. It was awesome meeting everybody, and I had a great time, and I hope you guys did too. And peace out. Enjoy life. Rock the AC, signing out. Later, guys.